Hi everybody, welcome back to Sunny Preps. I know it's been a week or more since I posted a video, but I have learned an important YouTuber lesson in the meantime. Never delete the original footage before the finished product is in the can. So I am going to be refilming today. While I put a bed back together, I'm going to show you the storage we had underneath and give you some more options for storage under a bed that you can create yourself or even that you can buy. So sit back and enjoy. I'll be filming again. The good thing is I've learned more editing tips along the way, so that's good. Okay, here's the bed that was originally filmed being taken apart and I deleted by accident. So now we're putting it back together. We've moved it from our guest bedroom over to a rental property that's being provided furnished. So you can see these drawers I got at a yard sale. They originally went under a queen size waterbed. It's 2 pieces, if you can see the seam right there. And I fastened them together with hardware to keep them from sliding around. I made this originally for my daughter. She had a queen size bed in her room and she wanted more space in the room and less bed. So I figured this out and put it together. Now while I'm doing this and talking about what I built, I want you to know that I don't have any special training or carpentry skills. I just picked up a circular saw at one point and started using it. I'm probably using the wrong kind of blade for plywood or for whatever I cut, and I should use a different blade for cross-cutting as opposed to ripping. I don't know. But I just use a basic blade. Now when I was cutting some other stuff, I got a diamond blade. But you'll pick that kind of stuff up if you watch YouTube videos. So just make sure you're safe along the way. I did have someone more experienced around me when I started doing it, but there's nothing to it really. I'd recommend safety goggles when you're cutting because the sawdust does get in your eyes. So be careful, but don't be afraid of power tools. And this especially goes to women. I don't have any special skills. Just figure it out and piece it out along the way. Now this could be done really with any sturdy dresser, and a dresser would even make it taller. A coffee table is one of those ones from the 70s that has, you know, it's a big rectangle about this size and has doors in the front that open. You could do that. Anything that you don't mind screwing into the top of it because it does need the support from this piece of furniture. For the design that I have, somebody can use real headboard and turned legs, and it would be more stable because you'd have a wider surface. But I made the headboard and the footboard with just finished plywood. That's what I had. All right, I'm going to put this together and I'll show you stages as we go along. Okay, first thing, I bolted the bed rail, and this is actually a queen size bed rail, and I'm not sure why I purchased that, whether I couldn't find an extra long twin or I thought they were the same. They're not exactly the same, so I'm going to have to come up with a feature to keep the mattress in place. But I think the hole was already in the rail. But I have drilled holes in bed rails before, so I could have done that. So that's bolted onto this very sturdy base. You can see that's nice thick plywood, and it goes all the way to the ground. The drawers are dovetailed together, so you can see this is a good quality. Even the bottom of the drawer is plywood. So that's really sturdy, can hold lots of weight. Here it is with the rails bolted into place. So I just have a piece of plywood, and I cut the corners at an angle so that it wouldn't be too sharp in case anybody bumps any head or shins or knees on it. So that's just bolted into place on the plywood. You can see there's other holes in the plywood because this bed has been in several configurations and probably will be in even more in the future. Okay, here you can see it with the base or the support for the mattress underneath of it. We had one of those memory foam mattresses. I thought it was very comfortable with the memory foam mattress. My kids loved it and everybody. I think my brother thought it was a little hard. It wasn't bouncy because it doesn't have a box spring under it, but you could put a box spring under. You would need less slats if you did that. But the memory foam mattress is nice and light and inexpensive and has the cool gel in it. And since I am sweating right now, cool gel sounds really good. And you can just pick this up. Now, if I had intended to make this bed for storage, I would have cut off little pieces right here and here so that it would come up past this without a hitch. I can still get it past it, but there is a hitch, but it just needs the tiny little corner of that wood cut off. Actually, for operational security, if you're really trying to hide that, leaving it like that so you have to work at it to get it open might be actually a good thing. You could even put a solid piece of plywood so nobody could see between the slats down to what you might have stored under here. So if you're really designing this for storage and you want to be able to access that under there, you're going to need to hinge this to that railing down there. Both times I've tried to demonstrate it, it falls. But you can see there's plenty of room back there and it couldn't be accessed from either the head or the foot with this design. And even if you take the drawers out, you're not going to see it. This is really good hidden storage space. When I was demonstrating it the first time, I had boxes of quart-sized canning jars. And how many is in a box? 12? I think 10 or 12 jars in a box of quart-sized canning jars. And I could get, I believe I could get a dozen of those boxes in this space behind the drawers. And if the drawers weren't here, you could get at least 2 dozen, maybe more. I also had 5-gallon buckets. And I estimated that I could probably fit a dozen 5-gallon buckets back there. And that's with the bed just being this height, which is about knee height. Here it is with the mattress on top. You can see there's a little bit of extra room because this is the twin extra long and those are queen size rails. So I do have a little plan for that, but honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to worry about it. I thank God it's just good enough. Okay, so there's some storage. Since I know most of you aren't going to find the perfect drawers at a yard sale to go under a bed, here are some other ideas. These are Better Homes and Gardens cubby shelves. If you'll notice, the outside, the top, the bottom, and the 2 sides are nice and thick, and they are very sturdy. I have several sets of these. They're very sturdy. You could put one of these under one bed rail and another one on the other side under a bed rail, and you'd have 16 cubbies under a bed, twin size, whatever size you want, and then make the headboard and the footboard to match. I haven't worked out the specific dimensions, but I could see you putting a cubby like this at the foot. So then you'd have 20 cubbies under one twin size bed, and you'd still have space in the middle, and you just need to make a headboard. Now, if pink isn't your style, they come in all kinds of colors. And if a double layer would be too thick, they come in single layers. Walmart.com carries these Better Homes and Gardens cubbies. The other brands are not as strong. I wish I had an affiliate link to have you click on, but I haven't got that set up yet. But I know Walmart.com has these, and I absolutely recommend this brand. Now, if you want to just get something pre-made in a loft bed, This is from IKEA. And this is from IKEA, under $300. And this is from IKEA for under $120. Can you imagine how many supplies you can fit under this twin size bed? Forget about it. The loft beds that I flashed pictures of are from IKEA. They're not expensive, they're very utilitarian, they might work really well. When I needed a loft bed, it was for my son, who is an offensive lineman in his high school football team. So I was not sure that they would really hold up to him and, you know, years of use. So I made a loft bed that frankly a gorilla could have used as a playground. And it was definitely over-engineered. Don't necessarily have to do that to yourself, but if you do something like that, it will last forever. And I've recycled the wood out of that, since he doesn't need a loft bed anymore, and used the different wood in different places for many different things, and it turned out really well. And I actually still have some left. So just think about that if you're gonna get those things from IKEA or from some pre-made place like that, where it might be particle board, or it just might not have as much cross bracing as you want. Maybe you can add some cross bracing of your own if you order the kit, but they are not too expensive. If you're a small person, or you're, you know, getting this for for kids, not little kids, because you don't want them necessarily in a loft, but for kids that are not too heavy, then, you know, it might be fine. I was a little worried about how long they were going to last. I never saw them in person though, so if you're interested, actually check them out and make that decision for yourself. Like I said, I had an offensive lineman. He needed some serious structure, and that way we personalized it as well. Before we sign off, I thought I'd give you a very quick update on the garden. I did put up a third trellis for my tomatoes, and talking to someone, I was a little concerned that these tomatoes aren't going to ripen, even though I've got them all picked up and the leaves are all trimmed back and everything. They're still going to have a hard time ripening, especially since I'm pretty far north. I'm not sure when our first frost would be. So I cut the tops off of a lot of them. I heard Jess on Roots and Refuge say that if you snip the tops off of them when it gets close to the frost time, then instead of concentrating on growing, they will concentrate on ripening what they have. And I did get the jungle back here under control. It needs to be mowed or somehow weed eated, but I've got a lovely squash down there. I've got still more squash here. I think that one's probably ready to actually take in, even though it's tiny. That's the first little squash I had. And tomatoes were laying all over the ground, so I put up a trellis back here to help get those up off the ground. And some of the beans I'm letting go to seed, and that's what's going on there. And then the tomatoes here are there's just tons of green tomatoes all over the place. I mean, obviously there. And oh, there's one starting to blush. There's more. And there's some. And there's a bunch. They're just going crazy on this. I mean, this plant has to be 10 or 12 feet tall. They're all over the place. There's one that's starting to ripen. See, they're cracking as it's uneven watering. But that's a little bit of a garden update while I'm working on this bed. I'm taking the bed from my house over to a townhouse that I'll be renting and offering it furnished. And I'm moving into that bedroom a bed that my great-great-grandfather made. His craftsmanship is way better than mine. That bed is an heirloom that will be treasured for a very long time in our family, for generations to come. The beds I've made are not heirloom quality, but they have been very effective in taking good use of space and finding extra storage in our home. So keep your mind open to what can work in your home and look at all the possibilities. And while you're doing that, keep prepping, keep getting ready, and no matter what, keep smiling, because a rainy day is no match for a sunny disposition. Don't forget to hit the like and the share and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.